today we're going to be looking at Battlegrounds. Battlegrounds go from level 1 to 125. They are a good way to gain more powerful units that you cannot build, as well as gear to make those units stronger, similar to the blood pact increases. The way you get more units, you have to put a certain amount in, and then you receive a certain amount back. And a lot of times it's going to be units that you can't build, or better units such as dragons or elves. In the lower levels, below 30, you will see some Northmen drops, some Northmen payouts, as well as orcs. But once you get past 30, 35, you're really going to see pretty much exclusively elves and dragons as your payouts. Some people may or may not be experienced with the payout system, but basically you want to think of it like a payday loan. If you're not familiar with how those work, is you will take a check from a company, and you will promise that in a week you will pay back the amount that they loaned you plus an extra percentage. And payouts, when you get a payout, in order to receive the next payout, you have to give the value of that payout and resources via units, whether it be the exact units that you received or ones that you built, plus around 10%. That can vary a little bit based on a lot of factors that I'll talk about here in a little bit. But so basically, whenever you get a payout, especially if it's a very big payout and there's no bleed over pay, which I'll explain in a second, you're going to have to pay back that payout plus 10% in order to get your next payout. In terms of bleed over pay, every level battleground has a predetermined range of units that it can give you. It can give you from 1 to 100. That's just hypothetical. The exact numbers I do not know because it varies a lot. But if you get a maximum payout reward and get everything back that you put in, then you have no bleed over. And then you're going to have to put that payout plus that 10% that I was talking about back in to get your next payout. If you have bleed over, you're going to have to put less in. Say you put in X amount, which is 150% of the payout bracket for the level you attacked. So you will get your payout, plus that extra 50% will go towards your next payout. So say I send 1,000 units and only needed to send 750 or 600, whatever. Anything over that payout quota is going to go to your next payout. And you can use this to your advantage to chain payouts and build up a lot of units very fast. The payouts for your quest battleground, not your saga quest, but your highest level battleground, which is going to be whatever your quest here is. See, it says mine is level 102, and there's a quest for every level, 1 all the way up to 125. And your first time killing that level, you're going to receive a reduced payout, or you're going to have to put more in to get a bigger payout. So it's best if you are actively trying to get a full payout to attack something that's 1 level or as close to your highest level battleground as possible, because you will receive the full payout reward. When it comes to payouts, there's a lot of ways to do it. You can dump units in without actually taking battlegrounds and then hit your second highest, and that typically is going to get you a maximum reward. There's ways to track that, and we're actively producing a valuable calculator that will help you tell when you're getting close to a payout. That should be done in about a month. We've got to wait on everybody to get their resources, resource values for units and everything figured out. So yeah, you can do that. And you can also just go through and hit as many as you can and hope that you get lucky and get a good payout before you run out of units. It's completely up to you which way you do it. If you have an abundance of units, there's not really a more effective way to do it. But if you're low on units and want to make sure that you're getting the most out of your units, you're going to want to track it and monitor your payouts. When it comes to Battleground, there's, for offensive and defensive, there's ways to scout the Battleground and tell what it's going to be weak to. The the best way to kill the battleground with the least amount of units. On an offensive battleground, let's find a report here. On an offensive battleground, you're going to want to send about 1,000 troop power, about 1,000 offensive power. You can send more. Anything less is really not going to be effective. And you want to pay attention to your report. You're going to want to pay attention to what shows up right here. As you can see, there are no dragon units from the Ice Queen showing up. That means that this battleground is going to be very, very weak to dragon units. You're going to want to send dragons to take this. Followed closely by elves. There are very few amount of elves in here, so elves will be good too. Northmen are going to be very bad, and orcs will be alright, but dragons will want to be the best here. The best way to think about this is on offensive battlegrounds only. It's different for defensive. But if you send a scout and you see a lot of dragons, you want to send elves. If you see a lot of elves, you want to see dragons. If you see about an equal amount, it doesn't really matter. You're probably going to be better off sending Northmen or orcs, but it's a lot harder to build up enough to take higher level battlegrounds with those. In the low levels, you know, you can send orcs and Northmen and take things very easily. But yeah, that's a good way to monitor and make sure that you're not expending extra units if you really want to take a battleground and win. Especially like during the global tournaments and stuff, it's very useful to do that. You won't get payouts as much, but you'll lose less units in the long run if you're doing several battlegrounds. For defensive, let's find one here. You can scout these a lot easier. You can send one of any unit you want. You can even send a scout to it, and it'll show you what's there. Offensive doesn't work like that. You kind of have to guess. Defensive, you can see everything that's here. And defensive works the exact opposite of the way that offense does. On defense, if you see a lot of dragons, you're going to want to send dragons. If you see a lot of elves, you're going to want to see elves. If you see a split amount, you're probably going to be better off sending elves. Or if you see a very high amount of Northmen or orcs, you're probably going to want to send elves so you're not wasting your rock wings. And the reason for that is, I'm sure all of you are aware, there's differing values for defense and offense from each of your units, and this system is just allowing you to maximize that. What else do I need to talk about here? I think that's going to be it for your basic battlegrounds. You know, don't get discouraged. Sometimes you do have to work very hard to get a payout, but when you do, it's completely worth it. And you do have to remember that you're never going to receive full value back. You're always going to lose that 10% or so. So Battlegrounds are an extremely good way of sending your low-level units, your Northmen, your orcs, and turning them into things that consume less ale and are stronger per unit, such as elves or dragons. Even if you can build them, it's an easy way to turn your lower-level troops and your normal build queues into good units. I think that'll be it for today, and I'll see you guys later.